Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
First, we're going to get to the Duke Blue Devils, his favorite team, who won tonight without Tyrese Proctor, right? They beat Hofstra. It was kind of a battle for the first half, but they pulled away in the second half. Filipowski looked good. Roach looked good. In a way, in the second half, they looked better than they had with Proctor. My question to you, Josh, is how much confidence do you have right now in the Duke Blue Devils? Because, they've had some tough losses. That loss to your Georgia Tech Blue Devils, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, was not one that I think a lot of people saw coming. Can this team still be what we thought they could be, which is a Final Four contender and maybe even a national champion?
Well, Jeff, there's no doubt that not having Proctor hurts them. I mean, they need Proctor for them to probably be at the level they want to be at. And you look at the last two games prior to this tonight versus Hofstra, Filipowski hasn't played well. I think he's got like a total of 17 points in the last prior to this Hofstra game. Hasn't shot it well. They're not winning anything, let alone anywhere in the ACC, if Filipowski isn't playing like an All-American. Now tonight he was big time. I think he had like 28 and 12, 8 assists. He almost had a triple double. He was really, really high level. And in order for them to be the level that everyone thought Duke has a chance to win a national championship this year, he has to be an elite first team All-American to play like that night in, night out. And if not, they're just not going to be they're just going to be an average team, or they'll win some based on their talent, but they're not going to get to where they get to based on the expectations. I think Roach tonight had 19 points. Duke made threes tonight. Now, they beat Hofstra. They're off, I think, for like a week and a half. They will be tested, and we will see really where do they stand, Jeff, December 20th when they play Baylor, because that's their next game. They're off for a little bit here for the finals window.
In New York.
In New York, they play Baylor. Like that's and by then I think Proctor will be back. I would assume, assuming by then he's healed to be ready to go. That will be a real test of where Duke's at and can they make a run heading into the ACC play. But unless Filipowski play like he did tonight, which he 28, 12, and 8 assists, and he was play like an All-American. If he's not like that every night, I think it's hard for Duke, and they're relying on him to produce at that level. So I think that's the X factor, especially until Proctor gets back. But December 20th versus Baylor is going to tell a lot.
Hey, Henson, here's my deal with this Duke team, part of it that people haven't talked enough about. This recruiting class, everybody blew it up because Shire did such a great job, right? He got like 4 or 5 guys. They were all like top 25-ish in this recruiting class. The problem is this recruiting class wasn't very good. It was very, very average, and we're seeing that now, right? Like Jared McCain's a nice player, but he's not a one and done. Caleb Foster is a nice college player, but he's not one and done. My guy, TJ Power, who I love, can barely get off the bench right now, right? Like Sean Stewart can barely get off the bench. This isn't what you think of when you think of like a number 2 recruiting class in the country. You got to kind of put it in context. This class wasn't that good overall, John.
Yeah, but in about 6 months, right, they've got a generational talent coming. I think Cooper Flagg, right, coming in next year, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be fine. I think we forget Duke. This is their first year under Shire where the target was really on their back, right? Like last year they kind of struggled and pushed towards the end. So now Filipowski's dealing with double teams, he's dealing with different schemes. So tonight he did a really good job of moving the ball around, trying to get his guys open, making a quick decision, not forcing anything. And that's how he's going to have to play with this team he has around him, because he is going to be the focal point, especially until Proctor gets back and Roach kind of finds his rhythm. Even Mitchell, he's struggling. They talked about it a lot on the call today. Mark Mitchell's trying to find his identity. I thought he had his identity, right? Glue guy, plays hard, rebounds, does a little small thing. So what happened? What changed all these last 6 months, right? So I think Duke has as high a ceiling as anyone, and they did the same thing last year. We kind of got down on them, and all of a sudden they won the ACC, and they're rolling, right? So that's something that I think once they get healthy with Proctor coming back off this break, they will be fine. I don't want to get too down on them. but they did look good tonight. If they can keep that up, I like where they're at. But their bench is their depth is, which is not something we usually see with Duke, right? Not a lot of depth. They got like 5.5 guys that can really get out there and play. So I think the sky's the limit for. I think this is their floor. They're going to be fine.
And Jeff, let me real quick. I know we got to move on from Duke, but I just want to say this. The issue is the recruiting rankings. Everyone, you're like, why aren't more people talk about? And this isn't against John Shire, because like I recruited Stewart. I loved Stewart when I was. If I had ever gotten Stewart, I loved TJ Power. I would still be coaching at Georgia Tech if I got those guys coming in. I say all that to say that. But you could, there's a lot to be said for evaluation. Everyone talks about recruiting. I get that. That is the whole key. But recruiting comes with evaluation. People sometimes get enamored with numbers, and people are putting numbers by guys. It's nothing against scouting.
I think you did early. I think you would admit you did at Memphis when you took over early. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean scouting. I mean that you're recruiting the best. But evaluations, yes, evaluations are so important in the recruiting process to determine, and sometimes again, freshmen, it takes a while for them to adjust. As we know, it's harder now than ever. It takes time, but people get caught up in the rankings. There's that, but maybe the evaluation, everything's about evaluation. And again, those guys are really good players because I've seen them. Stewart, Powers, they can play, and they're going to be good as John mentions the year goes on. But people get caught up in that, and all of us. And I'm not saying the coaches, I'm saying fans. Me, and so you think you're overrated when really they're good players. They're just, it's going to take time, and they're not just one and done. Even though they were ranked high, it doesn't mean you're going to be right in. Look at the guy from Harvard, the freshman. Mack is his last name.
He's terrific.
I didn't see him. If you could start over the rankings, he would be higher than these other guys.
What if you had a regular course load? What would he be doing? You know what I'm saying?
He'd be even better.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.